Well, good morning and welcome to the 2023 South Carolina High School League Leadership Summit presented by the Carolina Panthers. I am Romanda Noble Watson, the Director of Communications and Public Relations with the South Carolina High School League, and it is my esteemed pleasure to welcome you into today's summit. Unfortunately, the commissioner of the South Carolina High School League, Dr. Jerome Singleton, could not be with us today, but he sends his regards to all the speakers and the viewers. Coming to the screen now is the South Carolina High School League Director of Educational Services, Dr. Cottrell Rodan. Welcome in, Dr. Rodan.
Good morning. How are you doing, Romanda Noble Watson?
I'm
And
wonderful.
good morning, everyone. I hope that you are all healthy, happy, and well. We are so excited to have you all here with us. The purpose of this summit is to make sure that all of you have what you need to be the best student athletes on and off the field. Here at the South Carolina High School League, we encourage a culture of sportsmanship and leadership. That's what today is all about. I'm excited for you to hear these two amazing speakers that we have today. So let's go ahead and discuss some norms. So number one, I would like you to take notes, jot down anything that resonates with you. You know, when that light bulb comes on. Number two, ask good questions. So you will see there's a question and answers area. And so we would like you to use that. We want this to be interactive. So put your name, the high school, and any questions that you might have in that section. The more questions, the better. We want to engage with you. Once you take these notes, please do not stuff them in your backpacks. Okay, we want you to use this information over and over again. Get yourself some good sticky notes. I like a good sticky note. And put them on your mirror in the morning so that you can remember some of those things that you heard from these two legendary speakers. But lastly, and most importantly, we want you to enjoy. You've made it through it. You've made it through some tough stuff. We're at the last month of 2023. It's the holiday season. I congratulate you all for making it this far. My hope is that these speakers enrich your life. Seriously, guys, you have some of the South Carolina's true legends here today. So take advantage of it. Back to you, Director of Communications, Miss Romanda Noble Watson.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rodan, for getting us ready for the summit and these two dynamic speakers. So let's jump right in. Our first speaker, former Major League Baseball player Grayson Greiner. Greiner is a 2011 graduate of Blythewood High School. As a senior, he was named the South Carolina 4A Baseball Player of the Year by the state newspaper. After high school, Greiner went on to play collegiately at the University of South Carolina, where he was a 2012 freshman All-American and an All-SEC selection. In 2012 and 2013, he was a USA Baseball Collegiate National Team selection. In 2014, Greiner was a Johnny Bench Award semifinalist, the award for the best catcher in the nation. Also in that year, he was named to the USA Baseball Golden Spikes Award watch list for the best amateur baseball player in the nation. Greiner was not only a standout on the field, but academically as well. He was a three-time member of the SEC Academic Honor Roll 2012 through 2014 and was a 2014 second team Capital One Academic All-American Team selectee. In 2014, Greiner was a third-round Major League Baseball draft selection of the Detroit Tigers, 99th overall. He was called up to the major leagues in 2018. Greiner earned his Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and Accounting from the University of South Carolina in 2015. After 10 years, Greiner returned from baseball, having spent 3 years and 46 days in the major leagues. Please welcome to the screen, Grayson Greiner.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for that introduction. You make me sound a lot better than I actually am. But just wanted to thank y'all for allowing me to come on and speak and give back a little bit to where I'm from. We'll go ahead and start the PowerPoint right here. Just speak briefly on a couple leadership topics, and then I'll open it up for some questions. But we can go to the next slide there. If we can. There we go. So just a quick about me, it was pretty much wrapped up right there. Born and raised in Columbia. I've lived here my entire life. Still live here with my family, married with 2 kids, but I graduated from Blythewood back in 2011. Graduated from South Carolina with an accounting degree in 2015, and just finished a 10-year career in pro baseball. Retired this year, actually, in May. And I just started a new job as a commercial real estate broker with Colliers here in Columbia. Started in August, so I'm really enjoying that. So now onto the topic of the summit, leadership. So in my opinion, there's a couple different types of leadership. We got vocal leadership. That's everything. Anything you do in life, you have to be able to communicate with other people, and you're going to encounter countless different personalities. I played baseball for pretty much my entire life and probably met 10,000 different people, and along with that comes 10,000 different personalities. And one thing that makes you a leader is how you interact and motivate each person individually. My position was catcher. As a catcher, you have to interact with a lot of different pitchers, and you have to learn, is this a guy that I can motivate passively, or do I have to be aggressive? So another thing you have to learn to do is how do you listen to people? One of the biggest adjustments I had to make was not be somebody that listened where something goes in one ear and out the other. It was more of, am I really listening to what this person says and taking it to heart and learning how I can help that person? The next thing is leadership by example. If you're not the most vocal leader, which I really wasn't, I wasn't a huge talker, how do your actions and work habits motivate and lead others? Are you the first person in the gym in the morning? Are you the first person in the classroom? Are you the first person on the field? Are you the last person to lead? Just leadership by example and your work ethic can go a long way in motivating your teammates and even your classmates. Your body language. They've done studies years after years of how we communicate and what percentage of that communication is nonverbal. And a lot of that goes to your body language. As I mentioned, I was a catcher, and in baseball, catcher is the only position where you have 8 other people looking at you and you're looking out at 8 other people. So my body language was one of my top priorities. If I struck out, I can't go back there and catch and have terrible body language, because that's gonna reflect to my 8 other teammates that are looking at me every pitch. So whatever sport you play, whether it be a team sport, individual sport, your body language is going to have a huge impact on how you play and also on your teammates. And the last type of leadership I'd say is your sacrifice. There's a lot of things I wanted to do with my friends in high school and college, but I had to sacrifice because I knew where I wanted to get. And sometimes that you have to give up things that you want to do to achieve what you want to achieve in the future. If you want to go on to the next slide, please. So we'll talk a little bit about where leadership can be seen, in the real world, or especially in the sports world, which is what we're talking about here. Number one is leadership in the classroom. When they asked me to present on leadership, the first person I thought of was Myron Rolle. I don't know how many of you know who Myron Rolle is, but a little background on him. He was a 5-star top 10 player in the country at a high school. He could have gone to any school in America for football. He ended up choosing Florida State University, and he was actually awarded the Rhodes Scholarship, which is given out to 32 students across America each year that get to go study a 2-year, residency at Oxford University. So he actually won that scholarship, and he chose to go study at Oxford after a brief NFL career, and he's now a neurosurgeon at Harvard Medical School. I mean, this is a guy that didn't really need to take pride in his academics, but he went above and beyond, and he ended up becoming a neurosurgeon at maybe the top hospital in America. So that his leadership was in the classroom, and it's something that I aspired to do on a daily basis, was to take care of my academics. My dream since I was a little kid was to go play baseball at South Carolina and then play in the major leagues. If I didn't take care of my academics in the classroom, I would not have been afforded that opportunity. So that's number one. Number two is leadership on the field and the court. How some of the best leaders in the history of team sports motivated their teammates and made them better. I immediately thought of Tom Brady and Michael Jordan, and each guy motivated differently. Michael Jordan, if anybody watched The Last Dance, he motivated kind of through fear and through intimidation. Tom Brady, he more through guidance and education with his teammates and at work ethic. Not that, I mean, Michael Jordan had one of the best work ethics of all time, but just seeing how different guys lead and watching what they do. And I love watching sports documentaries because you get to see how each amazing athlete and generational athlete was able to lead their teammates. And the last thing is leadership in the community. You see the Walter Payton Man of the Year award is given out every year to the NFL player that gives back to his community the most. Baseball has the Roberto Clemente Award. It's not about awards, but as athletes, if you're lucky enough to go on to play in college or professionally or even in high school, you can use your platform to give back to your community. I think that's something that's very important, and finding what you're most passionate about to get back to it is extremely important. We can go move on to the last slide. Last slide, just real quick, is just traits that make a good leader. I just put a couple on there. Work ethic. I think that's one of the most important parts of being a great leader is, are you able to work as hard or even work harder than your peers and competitors and set a good example for your teammates? Nobody wants a lazy leader. That's not somebody that you want to follow. Accountability. I used to hear my high school coaches at Blythewood say, can I depend on you? Are you going to be somebody that shows up day in, day out and does what you're supposed to do? And if your coaches and teammates can't depend on you, you're probably not going to play, and you're not going to be a successful leader. The third one is punctuality. I vividly remember every spring training, whether it be with Detroit, Arizona, Colorado, the manager would get up there and say, we have two rules as an organization. And the first one every time was be on time. It's the number one rule. Number two is respect your teammates and coaches and anybody you come in contact with. And I think it's underrated how important it is to just be on time. I think it's something that doesn't take a lot of effort, and it shows that you're in the right headspace and you want to do what you have to do to make your team better. Communication, we touched on it a little bit briefly earlier. Can you effectively, talk to others and listen to others and know what somebody needs and what you may need in that moment? We also touched on sacrifice. Are you willing and able to give up something you want to do in the present for something that you want to achieve in the future? Discipline is tough. Are you self-disciplined enough to give up some things that may be bad for you in order to, take care of your body, take care of your sleep, take care of your time management? To be a high-level athlete, a high-level student, you have to have amazing time management and amazing discipline to get where you want to get to. And the last thing is humility. Can you look in the mirror one day and realize that you're not doing everything you need to do to achieve what you want to achieve? So that was just a quick little 5-10 minute presentation, just my thoughts on leadership. I'd love to open it up to any questions. And once again, I just thank y'all for letting me be a part of the virtual leadership summit and give back a little bit to the South Carolina High School League, which I was a part of not too long ago.
Grayson, thank you so very much. Those things as a good leader: work ethic, accountability, punctuality. That's huge, very big. Communication, sacrifice, and discipline. Those traits are not only a good leader, just a good person in general. Well, one of the questions that I would like for you to share with the students that are watching is, what does it take outside of those things on the field, on the court, on the track, and whatever arena that they play, will it take to get to the next level?
I think a lot of it is realizing, like, the hardest thing for me was in high school, I was the best player on my team. Then you get to college, you realize you're just another guy. You're playing with the best of everybody. So you have to figure out, what do I have to do to make myself stand out? I don't just want to be another guy. I might have to step outside my comfort zone a little bit. Like, I was never a big vocal leader in high school. And I got to South Carolina and I realized, if I don't become a vocal leader, we're not going to get to where we need to get to. So kind of realizing what your teammates need in that moment. And that comes with experience. That's just not something that's going to happen overnight. It's just playing for years and years, and getting that experience is kind of what allowed me to learn what I needed to do to become a more effective leader.
Okay, and another question that came from Westwood High School: how important was the weight room for you as a leader at the high school, collegiate, and professional levels?
It was huge. I think when I was probably 12 years old, that was kind of when weight room started to become a big deal. I think prior to that, I don't think high school kids did a lot in the weight room, and now you see these multi-million-dollar weight rooms because people are realizing how important it is. I tell the story all the time. We were playing the White Sox in Chicago, and the visiting dugout has the roster posted on the wall, every visiting dugout you play in. And the Major League roster has 26 players, and we were looking at the roster one day. All 26 players for the White Sox weighed over 210 pounds. And people don't realize on TV how big and physical baseball players are. You think more football, basketball players are big. If you want to get to the next level in any sport, golf, tennis, baseball, basketball, football, it's a lot of it's about being bigger, stronger, and faster than your competition. So I think being accountable in the weight room, not missing team lifts, being the first one in there, and your teammates seeing that you're taking the weight room seriously, I think that pays dividends for everybody.
And this question, I think, is a really good question. If you had to look back at a younger Grayson, what exactly would you tell yourself?
Oh God, man, that's a really good question. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of like baseball specific things I would tell myself that don't really apply to this Zoom conversation.
Well, it may, because we may have some baseball players that's listening, and we trying to make them the best effective leaders. So sometimes it starts younger, that then it'll carry over into your high school and collegiate. So if Grayson is, let's say you're on the baseball field behind the plate at about 14 years old, just starting high school at life field.
I would tell myself that it's not as big as it may seem in your head. And like, I used to always think, oh, everybody's watching me. If I mess up, everybody's watching. They're really not. they're watching the whole game. And especially once I got to college and pro. I mean, people go to pro games more of a social event. They're out there eating a hot dog, drink. They're not watching my every move. So just learning how to breathe, learning how to relax. You start to learn all these different tools and strategies on how to perform at a high level. And I think a lot of it is your mental space, your mental headspace, and not freaking out and panicking and thinking not being afraid to make a mistake. I think that would be the number one thing I would tell a younger self is don't be afraid to make a mistake. If you make a mistake, learn from it and move on. Because it's, at the end of the day, there's a lot bigger issues in the world than, me making an error behind the plate, and just learning how to breathe and move on.
See?
That was a tough question, though. Really good question.
But your answer is great for those who beat themselves up and have put pressure on themselves. Release the pressure, because
exactly.
At the end of the day, you're out there having fun. You're gonna do much better than
right.
Well, Grayson, thank you so very much for taking the time out. I know you're busy of coming to give the student athletes, as well as the teachers and coaches who are listening, just a bit of information. And we truly, truly, truly appreciate it. We wish you happy holidays and season greetings and a prosperous new year.
Yes, I appreciate y'all. Merry Christmas to everybody and their families. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
We appreciate it. Well, let's sit back and bring in our next speaker. Is one of the University of South Carolina's legendary coaches. So I need you all to bear with me as I try to do my best at summarizing his storied history. Can't tell you everything because we'll be here all day and all night, but I'm going to do my best to give you as much as I can. Curtis Frye spent 27 years at the helm of the University of South Carolina track and field and cross country programs before retiring following the 22-23 season. Coach Frye established a program that is regarded as one of the nation's elite programs on the collegiate level. He has coached or overseen 60 NCAA champions, 122 SEC champions, 21 academic All-Americans, and more than 500 NCAA All-Americans. In 2022 alone, he coached 17 All-Americans and 5 honorable mention All-Americans. The 2019 season was big for Coach Frye and the program, as the Gamecocks achieved one of Frye's long-held dreams of opening a world-class indoor track facility, and he saw that become a reality. In that year, the Gamecocks hosted 3 home meets at the newly renovated Carolina Indoor Track and Field facility, with nearly 40 student athletes from over 24 schools achieving their national qualifying marks in Columbia. In 2017, Fry's vision of a new outdoor facility for Carolina Track and Field came to fruition with the opening of the Sheila and Morris Crager Track. The world-class facility, featuring a Mondo surface, 9 lanes, and separate areas for throws, jumps, and pole vaulting, immediately shot to the top of the list as the finest home facility in collegiate track and field. In that year, Fry's Gamecock hosted the SEC Outdoor Track and Field Championships. The meet was a great showing for the Gamecocks as the home fans saw senior Tyler Brockington win the SEC title in the women's 400-meter hurdles, and 7 additional Gamecocks reached the podium. The 2016 season was one of the many successful for Coach Fry. Following the successful season, he served as an assistant coach for the United States national team at the 2016 Rio Olympics. With Fry as one of the team leaders, Team USA earned 32 track and field medals in Rio, including 13 gold medals. In addition to the 2016 Rio Olympics, Fry served as an assistant coach with the 2004 USA Olympic women's track team, with responsibilities that included working with the sprinters and the relays. He also accompanied his former athletes to the 2000 Sydney Olympics and had several athletes compete at the 2012 Olympics in London. Fry's impact on track and field was culminated in December of 2013 as he was enshrined in the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association, which is abbreviated USTFCCA, Hall of Fame. Fry is a former president of the USTFCCA and is currently a non-voting member of the organization's board of directors. Earlier in the fall of 2013, Fry was inducted into the Sand Hills Community College Hall of Fame in Pinehurst, North Carolina. Not done. In October 2008, Fry was bestowed the Order of the ECOS Medallion, presented by the United States Olympic Committee. This honor is reserved for the coach of an Olympic or Paralympic medalist. Fry received the honor after coaching Jerome Singleton Jr. to a silver medal in the men's 100-meter dash at the 2008 Paralympic Games in Beijing. Later that year, he received the Order of Palmetto, the highest civilian honor awarded by the governor of South Carolina to recognize lifetime achievement and service to the state. One of the most well-respected coaches in the country, Fry brought South Carolina its first team NCAA championship in any sport when his women's team captured the 2002 NCAA Outdoor Championship crown. Fry is a 3-time United States Track Coaches Association National Coach of the Year, taking home the 1999 and 2002 Women's Outdoor Honors and the 1999 Men's Indoor Honors. And taking home those honors, he became the first person in the history of the USTCA to win awards indoors and outdoors in the same year. In 2001, he earned the prestigious Nike Coach of the Year honor and was named the 1997 USOC Track and Field Coach of the Year. Fry has to his credit multiple SEC of the Year Coach of the Year honors. In his career, Fry has coached 28 Olympians who garnered 14 medals at the Olympic Games. Coach Fry established the Fry Foundation, which is dedicated to assisting those dealing with diabetes and mental illness. Each year, they host a 5K run walk, as well as a golf tournament and silent auction. Coach Fry and his wife, Wilma, of 49 years, have 3 children, Crystal, Curtis Jr., and Cottrell. Please join me in welcoming legendary coach Curtis Fry Sr. to the screen.
Wow.
Hello. Thank you, Romanda, for that great introduction. Now I got to follow up and deliver. The Leadership Summit, as after listening to Grayson, has already been a success, making everyone aware of the proper orders of leadership. There are types of leaders. vocal, those in action and using body language and making sacrifices. I think my area is one where I've been involved in a collegiate is most persons that are leaders come to you with some qualities, but they've learned those qualities over the years. I think everybody should be an example. That's the first thing everyone should be, no matter if you're choosing yourself to be a leader or you want to be a leader, but we are a leader where by choice or not. You're an example. It's either a good example or a bad example. Even if you're silent, you're an example. So I think every day, the first thing a person should do at an early age is learning to do things around home. Leadership starts at home. Making yourself and making your bed and preparing your stuff to get ready to go is the first part of leadership. Is do you follow instructions well from your parents? Or do you bring the car back? Do you do the things that your parents have that will make everything safe and for your younger siblings to see you? So being an example at home. And after example at home, being an example of your family, of your name, of who you are. My children were always cognizant of the idea that they were Fries, and Fry meant something. My grandfather, their grandfather. So those were legacies that carry on. Getting a routine is the second thing that I think is very important for persons to have. I think my mother established those things for us. What time we got up in the morning, my dad got up and made breakfast and we were all ready to go, and what time we left and when the bus was going to be there. A routine, I know exactly. I have a routine right now after retiring just for the last 6 months in retirement. Breaking the 49-year routine has been difficult for me to establish a new one. But I'm telling you, an important thing is you should have a routine. Learning from successful leaders. Early on, I was put in a situation. I was a church person. My mother put us in a church. We learned from the structure of Sunday school and doing things that we knew what time we were going to be at Sunday school and what we were doing. So leadership is by watching other people, watching my Sunday school leader, and then from there to Boy Scouts, learning from the Boy Scout leader, and from Boy Scout leadership, I learned other things that were in the community that were very important before I even, as a Cub Scout, becoming. Those leadership skills were developed by community involvement and by being involved early. Finding ways to create structure. The Boy Scouts help structure, and then athletics. Athletics means you have to try out and be prepared to go to tryouts. And those are things that my father and got us involved in sports, along with being involved with the community activities like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and 4-H clubs. Those are things my siblings did as we grew up together. Greatness, once you learn how to work yourself into having structure and that you are, someone helps you with that. And the thing about it is leaders find their way to leadership. They attract an opportunity to be a leader. They're selected because of being on time, working hard, either being visual or being an example, or or being a person that shows enthusiasm. Everything you do should be enthusiastic. When you're picking a leader, you're trying to find someone that has qualities that make other people great. And then the word greatness is when you when someone great, you find them, you see them. I had someone like Terrence Trammell. He was incredible. I knew Terrence Trammell was going to be good when I saw him when he was 15 years old. His enthusiasm, his get to the front, his fiery method, but the never lose attitude. So no one believed at 15, and still didn't believe by the time I recruited him to the University of South Carolina that he could continue to tear, but he never doubted himself that he was going to do something extraordinary. Great leaders, Alan Johnson, who went on to win a gold medal in the Olympic Games, all would say to me, what can you do to make me an Olympic gold medalist? You could look at their stature and you could say, well, maybe this guy doesn't have it. They weren't 6'4" or 6'2". One was 5'10.5", and the other one was 6 foot, but he's thick, and he was one of the top 15 football players. He was a football player, but he wanted to be a world-class hurdler. Greatness is when you make a delusional idea become a reality. So everyone looks at you and don't think you're big enough or strong enough or fast enough or come from the right side of the track. See, the big thing is having confidence and belief. And that's something that you develop in yourself, that the doubters and haters and people that don't believe become a person. Terrence Shamir was someone that if you said he couldn't do it, that was exactly what he was going to do. Dream big. Dream things that are impossible. Dream things, dream high. And if you don't reach your dream, you reach something higher than if you didn't dream at all. I'd say go to the moon. That was in my era, going to the moon was not practical, but somebody in the world dreamed of the idea of going to the moon. You got to make people believe. That's what great leaders do. Believe past what they think is possible. So great leaders first believe in themselves. They achieve the delusional, and they have big dreams. So dream. Make sure to assess the situation. I talk about what leaders do. First thing leaders do is they greet. They have a smile. Or if they come up and they're firemen, they listen, they greet. They look at the situation, they ask people around them, if they're policemen, what is the situation? They greet. Hi, I'm this person or that. If you're an athlete, hi, my name is Curtis Fry, and I am a football player. I would like to, and after you greet yourself, you wait for the person or the situation. You breathe deep. You wait for and think, and then you listen. You listen because you greeted, you asked, and you waited. And then once you listen, you try to get an understanding of what the situation is. That's what great leaders do to even their teammates. Observation, greeting, and breathing deep, and then responding is the fourth step. Respond. Responding doesn't always mean you have the answer. It means you respond by saying, I don't know, but I can get the answer. And then, nowadays you guys got Google. You can Google the answer. If it's a tough situation, you can ask somebody, ask one of your teammates, or you put together a group of persons to make a solution. It is not that you personally just solve the problem yourself. But it's very important that you, as a leader, that you assess the situation. As I say, greet, breathe deep, listen, and then respond. And I respond. And I spoke a little bit about, being able to use Google and use the internet. But responding many times is off of recall of past situations, recall from others' situation, recall from mistakes, recall. Make sure you're prepared. You've got to either study your area of your expertise, leaders learn how to, that's why school is important. Knowledge is powerful. Information is important. So reading, being a great reader or listener, or having mentors, you must be able to understand subjects other than just the subject in which you are good at. You want to know something about running, even if you're a thrower. You want to know something about shooting, even if you're a defender. You want to know a lot about a lot of different things, but be an expert in a single thing. You must know something about the subject area. If you got a person having problems, be ready. Learn from others. Leaders learn from mistakes, just not they just as much as they learn from triumphs. Once a great leader told me that you can learn twice as much from winning as you can from losing, but you do learn from losing. You learn that you don't like what it feels like. So don't think that losing makes you a loser. It just makes you a learner from an experience so that you can help somebody else through a situation. So I just think leadership is something that's is very attractive. Leadership attracts followers. So if you get up early, you learn how to greet people and situations, and you breathe deep and you look them over and you think about it and you listen to the situation and you learn to respond. A leader thinks about their influence in everything they do. So it's not just a glaring situation. I think just whenever you, as I said earlier, realizing that you are a member of a group is very important. You're a group. If it's you and your mother, that's two. That makes a group. You are an influence in that situation. If it's you, your mother, your grandmother, and your father, you make a group. So you are an influence. Others are always. I do believe others do watch what you do, watch what you say, they watch what you wear, and watch where you go. Those are important. And from a college coach's perspective, I want to know a lot about who a person's company, the company they keep. I think that's very important. If you have a setback, what do you do? I think that's critical in watching someone. I love work ethic is more important to me than talent. So getting up, it comes with the work ethic, because all of us are going to go through struggles and all of us are going to fall down. But if you have a setback, what do you do? What I do is I call mentors. I reach out to friends and people who have had success. At this stage, I have younger mentors because the technology has moved to a point where there are things in running. I used to use sticks on the ground. Now they use what they call wickets. They use Stairmasters. They use assisted running machines instead of rubber bands. So if I'm dealing with something about acceleration, then I use the old school, and then I see somebody that's using something from the new school, and then I learn about that from a younger mentor. Clinics and summits and camps are very important in developing your talent to become a leader, to get back up. Advisors. Try to make sure you got someone. Don't be the smartest person in the room. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Every time I get to the point I know everything that one person knows, then I got to find out someone that knows something neither of us knows. Always surround yourself or be involved with someone that has information that you can gain from. If you're going through a low, counseling or counselor. So sometimes when you fall down and you got to get up, then you got to have someone that has an expert in the area of getting up, someone that can counsel you. And now there's nothing wrong with going through a low or being down. So mental health and counseling, it happens to leaders, great leaders. So I always make sure that I got someone that I can talk to that is a professional. And I might have someone where I can recommend to someone. I think leaders also are able to communicate to teammates or friends about they should go to, because many times people that are having problems, if you're a friend and a great leader, they talk to you about their problem, and all of us can't solve those problems. So what we have to do is have resources of persons that can help them, the counseling centers and and the 800 numbers for counseling. Make sure that you let people in to help you get up whenever you fall down. If you have a setback, what do? That you call somebody, mentor, advisor. If the setback is tough and it's a crisis in your family, it's death in your family, it's a real serious injury, or loss of a friend or boyfriend or girlfriend, then you may need to speak with someone. And so don't be afraid. Big leaders are not afraid to get help. Oh, access and reflections and redirect. Write your goals down. I mean, I write goals down even this morning on what I wanted to achieve when we were speaking this morning. Listening to our earlier presentation, Grayson kind of redirected my goals after listening to him, because he covered some of the greatest things that you can do. I mean, what kind of leader you can be, and how you are a leader, and what is required to be a leader, and the sacrifices you make, the choices you make. Those were great examples. But I think one of the things that I always tell everybody is keep notes. I scout myself each year. You know, I want to know what my goals are at the beginning of the year. I want to see if I've attained any of them in the middle of the year. And then at the end of the year, I want to evaluate. And then I look back and I adjust the evaluation. I keep them from year to year. Nowadays, spreadsheets and journals are very important. Lots of time people don't keep journals. I mean, journals help you figure out what it was you did right and what it is you didn't do so right. And it's never wrong. Not so right means that you can learn from it. So it's very important to have the not so rights in your journal. Not always being right about everything is something that leaders and that you have to assess. Don't be right about everything. Don't win every war in a discussion of learning to be a leader. Daily and monthly goals. I spoke of the goals. Having goals in all facets of your life. Goals on places to go. Goals on movies to see. Goals on simple things. Goals on vacation. Goals on return from vacation, and goals on who goes with you on vacation. Elevating the environment that you're in is very important, and having direction and assessments and reflections and being able to redirect is when you have written down information, spreadsheets and journals.
Okay.
Well, I've enjoyed. I rushed. I hope that there's been some things here that you could have enjoyed. And if you have any questions, please direct them. I like being a mentor and being available. If you have questions about right now collegiately NILs or what are people looking for in athletes to go on to the next level, don't hesitate. If I'd like to be, South Carolina's been very important to me. The high school system does. Now I'm more a conduit for persons that want to go on to the next level. College is not for everyone, but everyone's going to have to work. And so sometimes it's just helping people or connect to people that I know to help them get started with their careers. So I'm not just speaking to high school kids. I'm speaking to your parents or anyone. Hey, it's no use of having information and keeping it and not sharing it.
Coach Fry, thank you so very, very much. So while you was talking, I was busy writing down a couple of things that I can apply to myself. I'm a firm believer in when you stop learning, you stop growing. So I wrote down the first thing, one of the biggest things that stuck out was respond. Responded does not mean you have all the answers. It just means that you can recall them from past situations. And if you don't have the answer, to ask about it. And in competition, you got to understand not only your role as a player or athlete, but understand the different roles. So that's one of the things as well, and we can use that in our work environment to help out. This is huge for those who, again, talked about when Grayson talked about the pressure that people put on themselves. Losing does not make you a loser; it makes you a learner. So learn from your mistakes. And a leader thinks about their influence in everything that they do. So, to be a good leader, sometimes you have to be a good follower. So that's what that statement means to me. The one question that I wanted to ask is, you talked about recruiting athletes and seeing what they're going. What do, other than, because you're being recruited, we know what you can do on your field of play, but what else do a coach, when you go out and looking for in an athlete when you recruit them?
Well, talent is the first thing, in which, we don't recruit people that don't have talent. Is probably the biggest. How good do you think you can be? I love to hear people that have confidence.
Okay.
Character, and the slogan that character is what you do when nobody's looking. It's everybody tells you, every coach tells you how great this person is. This is a wonderful kid. This kid studies hard. This kid's a great one. Then he does this, but the guidance counselors is probably where I like to check, and I have our coaches go. Coach's job is to get the highlights to you on how great a kid is. Nobody's going to walk up to you and tell this person doesn't cooperate. This person's been suspended. This doesn't. But the guidance counselor kind of gives you the low. Is a good person, but, and the buts are where you look. And then if the butt's not outside, I tell people constantly, you cannot be, if you're a recruitable athlete, you can't be a liability, or you got to overcome the liabilities with your strengths. Now, there's two things you can be. You can be a talent that can run really fast. That makes it positive. And then if you run real fast and you don't go to class, that's a liability. Run real fast, but you turn things in on time and you show up on time. All right, that's 2 out of 3. You can run real fast and you're a good teammate or bad teammate. Okay, we got to run fast. We got don't go to class, but you turn things on time. You're a bad teammate. Now we got 2 and 2. Next is, are you rude and disrespectful? Well, are you not? So this is going to turn the tide. If this person is rude and disrespectful, runs fast, but studies hard, so he's 3 is wrong. So 3 means that we got to write this one off. It's very good when you don't have to have all the talent, but if you're respectful and you study hard and you got great work ethic and you show up on time and you're not as talented as the other person, you get some opportunities out of not being as talented. But if you are really talented, you get a chance to be 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5. So talent gives you an opportunity, but your character keeps you with the opportunity. So developing character is something that you do even if you got talent. Talent is a stage. It gets you in the room. Character keeps you in the room. And even if you don't have talent, character will give you an opportunity that talent can't keep you with.
Thank you so much. That definitely is profound, and I'm sure that the student athletes who are listening can understand that it's not always about the best talent, but how your well-roundedness. Well, Coach Fry, we want to thank you so much again for joining us and sharing your wisdom. I hope dearly that those viewers have taken some notes as I did, and I will probably type them up and put them on my wall in my office when I get a moment to make sure that I look at it so that I can continue to grow. So we would like to take this opportunity to thank Grayson and Coach Fry for joining us today for this summit. So I will take a point of privilege at this time to definitely wish everyone who is listening and viewing, the speakers as well, a season's greeting. But before we go, I would like to bring back to the screen Dr. Rodan to offer some closing comments.
I'm gonna put you on there too.
All right.
You might not realize it, but Coach Ryan, that's my dad.
Hey guys.
So there was a question that we wanted to get to. It said, could you discuss the role impact that track and field can have for student athletes that currently just play football or basketball? So can you answer that one?
Yes, I can. And I wanted to answer that. I saw that. So I asked Dr. Rodan, which he asked me that question since I looked at it on the bottom. So everybody running fast, jumping high is important in every sport. And so it is I don't know, just diversified athletes make great athletes. You got to think about it. Michael Jordan triple jumped. He didn't just play basketball. And Deion Sanders, who is the head coach at Colorado, he played baseball, he played football, and he ran track. I actually saw him when I coached at the University of Florida, finish a baseball game, come over to the track, and beat the national champion in the 100 meters. That kind of competitor, and continue your other sports competition. Track is the head-to-head. It teaches a person how to be an individual, and all sports come down as can you do it on game day as an individual. So it's very important to be involved. Lou Holtz loved to have athletes play both sports. Same, Steve Spurrier was the same. So playing something other diversifies your ability to compete in different sports. Makes you a great one.
Well, thank you, Dad. I really appreciate all that you've done. And I hope that this really gave you guys some wonderful wisdom to take you through and reflect on as you're moving into that next part, that 2024 part of the year. So I hope you took some great notes, that you got your sticky notes. And the thing I wrote down was take a deep breath. It's not that serious, but it is that serious, right? So just focus on yourself, and I really hope that you guys have a wonderful and amazing new year. Now back to you, Romanda Noble Watson.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rodan, and thanks again to Coach Fry for joining us. So that is all we have for you all today. On behalf of Commissioner Singleton and the rest of the South Carolina High School League staff, we send you season's greetings, and to all our viewers, we wish you a prosperous new year. Thank you for attending today's Leadership Summit, and I truly, truly, truly hope you take some things away and have a wonderful new year.